Hi everyone, it's Nico here again. If you like Thai food, or if you love Thai food like we do, you're going to love this 20-minute Tom Yum. Super easy, amazing how just a few ingredients will create an amazing trip to Thailand for you at home. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a liter and a half of some water or a light chicken stock. I'm using a Thermomix vegetable stock, about a tablespoon that I've just put into 1.5 liters of some water. Or if you're doing this on the stove top, just into a pot, you can just put your stock into it. We're then going to start heating this up while we prepare our aromatics. We'll get rid of that. And we'll move to here. So 15 minutes at 100 degrees. We'll just turn it on to speed 1. And we'll get that starting up. And then it's just a matter of adding some aromatics. We've got 3 stalks of some lemongrass that we're just going to cut off the bottom bits. Now, if you can't get lemongrass where you are, find a good Asian shop, fresh lemongrass, find a good Asian shop, and they usually have things frozen. And buy them in little stalks, sort of like that, already frozen. What we need to do, just to release the flavors in these, is just give it a little bash, like that. Whoops. Into there. And that just starts releasing those beautiful lemongrass oils. It's going to start flavoring up the broth nicely. And with any of these sorts of things, that's what you want to do, is bruise them up. We've got some galangal, okay? Now, galangal can sometimes be a bit difficult to get fresh, but once again, your Asian supermarket has all kinds of frozen stuff. So I'm just using some frozen sliced galangal. And if you want, once again, these are frozen, so once they're defrosted, they've already got a beautiful flavor. Add a pinch, and it's going to be a totally different flavor profile. You could just use some fresh ginger, but it is a totally different sort of flavor profile to galangal. So we've also got some three shallots, Asian shallots, let's call them. If you can't get them, just use some red onion. And once again, just sort of gently press down on those. If you haven't got a pestle, you can just use a knife and just sort of press it down, and that's going to sort of break it open and start letting those beautiful flavors start to meld in there. We've got some kaffir lime leaves. Once again, fresh or frozen. We were lucky enough, we've got a great little tree outside. And what you want to do is just sort of bruise that up. Bruise them all up, and that will, well, when I say bruise, just sort of tear them gently. The recipe calls for 10, but look, just go for it. If you've got access to them, just throw them all in. We will take these all out later and use some of these as a bit of a garnish for the Tom Yum. And then chilies. 2 chilies. If you like things a bit spicier, like Belinda and I do, we're just going to use smaller chilies as well. Use as many or as little as you like. I'm just going to slice these up and pop this in with our aromatics. 2. And if you totally don't want any sort of spice or minimum spice, just take out the seeds and the membrane, but throw a little, you gotta have a little bit of chili. It is Thai food at the end of the day. We'll just throw those in here. And the little ones. And that's it. We're going to close that up. We'll stop this. This is now starting to heat up. You can start seeing the steam coming up in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to stop that, open that up, and we'll pop our simmering basket in there with all those flavors. That's just submerged in the water or stock, whatever you're using, and we'll continue that at speed 1. I'm not going to put the MC, the measuring cup, on the top because I'm a fan of sort of letting things sort of, become nice and flavorsome, smell things in the kitchen or whatever. So we'll leave that on. At a pinch, you could pop it on if you wanted to, but I'm a fan of traditional sort of cooking. If you're doing this on the stove top, you're going to be smelling that as well. And that's what we're going to get, these beautiful aromatics coming out of that. While that's happening, we're going to put a kettle on, and we've got some rice stick. Traditionally, Tom Yum is just a soup, but if you want to make this into more of a meal, like we do, is we will just add some noodles to the bottom of the bowl, and just sort of put the soup on the top, so you've got sort of a combined meal with that as well. And so what we'll do is, kettle is boiled, that's done. I've got about 100 grams, 150 grams of some thin vermicelli noodle. You could use whatever rice noodle that you've got. You can use more of a thicker sort of pad thai style noodle. And all this needs is 5 minutes with some boiling water just on there. And in 5 minutes time, we'll just give it a little stir up. You want it a little bit of al dente. You don't want it to be too soft so they break up. But what we'll do is we'll just check the timer here. It's at 10:35 right now. So at about 5:35, we'll check our noodles and then we'll come back and finish it off. So we'll be back soon. All right, so we have just under 5 minutes left there. So our rice stick has been simmering here for 5 minutes. We'll have a little taste. For texture, they're nice and soft now, so that's all you need. We're just going to come over here, drain these out. Can you see these? Drain these out. Just leave that there. Pop that off to the side. And we're going to get our next few ingredients ready to go. Just give this a little wipe down. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, you can call this Tom Yum Goong with prawns. You can call it Tom Yum Ga with chicken. We're going to go both, just to let you know. And so what we've got here is some prawns. I don't know, depending on how many you want per person, maybe 2 or 3 per serve. We've got some beautiful Australian prawns there. And if there's some people that can't have prawns, we've got some chicken breast, so that'll work as well. And what we'll do is just slice this into thin little slices. Maybe go, depending on the size of the chicken breast, we'll just go halvies like that, and then just thinly sliced up. These are only going to need about 3 minutes to cook up, so we want it nice and thin, so they don't take long at all. And once you've got this all prepped up, we're going to go with the final seasoning of the Tom Yum. So Thai flavors is all about sweet, sour, salty, and spice, and that's why we love it so much. And so what we'll do is pop these in with that. We'll get rid of this. And we'll go back to what we're going to start flavoring this up with. We still have about 2.5 minutes there. I'll go back. I mentioned the vegetable stock that we're using in this, and that's, you know, for those of you with the Thermomix, you guys know all about the Thermomix vegetable stock that just sort of keeps in the fridge. I've used a tablespoon of this to 1.5 liters of water. As I say, alternatively, you can just use water. And this recipe was taught to me by a beautiful chef friend of ours, Dovey, and she did a class here, and she just had a pot of water and then just added all the aromatics in it, and then it all just came together at the end with all these beautiful sweet, sour, salty, spice sort of flavors that happen. But that's the veggie stock paste that most of you know about. If you want a recipe for a light chicken stock done in the Thermomix, check out my YouTube channel and the chicken stock, Thermomix chicken stock recipe that's there. And yeah, it's just a nice, easy way of doing like 1.5 liters of a light broth using some leftover chicken bones, wings. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get ready for the next step, and we're going to add in some tomatoes. We also need some mushrooms, and depending on what sort of mushrooms are around or how big they are, we've got some button mushrooms here. You could, if you wanted to, use some straw mushrooms if you can get them in a tin. I prefer these, the fresher ones. You can't really get fresh straw mushrooms here, but I just like the texture of them once they're just slightly, put into the broth, as opposed to them being too soft anyways. So we'll just cut these in half for the size. If you've got larger mushrooms, cut them into quarters. You could slice them if you wanted to, but once again, we're looking for a bit of texture and stuff here as well. And so we've got most of those done there. We've got some cherry tomatoes. I just like to leave them whole. And got that there. And what we're going to do is finish this off with some sour. We've got some lime juice. The recipe calls for about 100 to 150 mils of some lime juice. I like that sour element, so start maybe with half of it if you wanted to, and then work your way up. The recipe also calls for 150 mils of fish sauce. Yes, 150 mils. It seems like a lot, but it's really the salt that we're going to add to the broth to give it that flavor. Sure, we've got the vegetable stock paste in there, which is also salty, but that was only 1 tablespoon anyway. So we've got 150 mils. You've read that right. So we've got sour, we've got salt, and now we need a little bit of spice. And this is sort of, for me, the alchemy that comes together with this dish was when Air used this Thai chili paste called Prik Phao. Excuse my Thai. But you can buy it in jars like that, and this one is just all around the world, okay? Or I always like to sort of see if I can make my own. And this is a recipe for Prik Phao that you can find at the website with this recipe as well. So if you want to make your own, go for it. You'll be rewarded by that. But at a pinch, this is fantastic as well. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our simmering basket out. I just need to get my spatula, and with the little hook in the spatula, we're just going to pull that out. There is our beautiful kaffir lime leaf galangal. There's our aromatics. Come out of there, and now it's just a matter of adding the rest of these ingredients. We've got our chicken and our prawns into there. We've got our mushrooms. No, we've got our mushrooms. And we've got our tomatoes. Lime juice, I'm going whole hog. I love the sour. And our fish sauce, 150 mils into there. And we need a tablespoon of some Thai chili paste. Once again, you can go 1. There's the commercial one, which is made up of chilies, garlic, shallots. There's a homemade one. Shrimp paste, dried shrimp as well. And last but not least, a bit of sweetness. Sour, sweet, salty spice. We'll pop that into there. And then all we need to do is pop this on, and we're going to cook this up for 3 minutes. Whoops. 3 minutes. 3 minutes at 100. So by just pushing the button, I can sort of move along to the next next speed, temperature, time, and we're just going to go reverse speed 1. Reverse. No, we're not going to go reverse. We're just going to leave it at 1. Okay. And we'll come back in 3 minutes, and we'll get this all plated up. Okay, so 3 minutes is up, and our 20-minute Tom Yum should be pretty much done. And what we'll do is 2, 1, 0. We'll stop that, and we will take this off of here. To make it easy to serve up, I like to sort of maybe have a serving pot or something all ready to go, and just pour this out. We've got all our prawns and chicken on the bottom, so we'll get those in there. One little prawn left in there. We'll get to that later, but we'll get things started here. And so what I like to do is certainly have a taste first up, see how we are for that sweet, sour, salty spice. Perfect for us. And we've got our noodles that we soaked earlier on. Just plate it up into a bowl, however you like it. What I like to do is just sort of scoop out the good bits, which are on the bottom. So we've got our prawns. We've got our chicken pieces in there. And then you can start gathering up our tomato and our mushrooms. Pop them all into there. Also, we've got our aromatics that have been sitting here. So we've got our kaffir lime leaf. If you want, you can add some more chilies into there. grab a piece of galangal for every serve. Leave that there. And last but not least, we'll get our beautiful Tom Yum broth onto there. And there we have it. The easiest Thai Tom Yum that you'll ever make. And we'll finish it off with a little bit of coriander on the top. If you like that recipe, visit the website, urbanprovider.com.au. Visit the YouTube channel, like I said, and we'll see you next time for the next recipe. Buon appetito. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the video and learned something, then please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you the next time. Buon appetito.